All right, Clariant Chemicals, big move, breakaway gap, as you can see, highest since November 3rd. Of course, the deal going through with Lodha has helped the company, but that's been in the works for a while. In fact, if you just bring up the year-to-date chart on Clariant, that would be indicative of the kind of move the stock has seen. Bump up in volumes as well from the start of the session to now, and now you're just seeing a further spurt come in on the stock. With the clearance of the land ordinance, there has been much focus on infrastructure companies as well as real estate companies. C Sharma, who's Vice Chairman and MD of Sobha Developers, joins us from Bangalore to put things in perspective on how this benefits his company directly. Mr. Sharma, good to have you on the show. You believe this makes things a lot easier. Explain that, and how will your plans change in lieu of this ordinance going through?
To begin with, a very happy new year to you and your viewers.
Yes, sir. Happy new year to you too.
Thank you. Right. See, this Land Acquisition Act we need to evaluate on the strength of when this act was promulgated in 2013, what actually it delivered on the ground. So if you can ask the government, you can ask the farmers, you can ask the industrialists, you can ask anyone who are the stakeholders, that the purpose of this act was to fairly compensate the farmers and at the same time to ensure that the industries do not suffer, Indian economy does not suffer, because land is the prerequisite for our growth. And we were not achieving this target. What this amendment has done in our view is that it has been fair to the farmers, where they will continue to get the 2 times or 4 times the compensation. At the same time, right, the industries will get land now on much easier conditions, where the processes which they will be following will be not as stringent, because they need not have to do that SCA kind of impact study. They did not have to get into 8 years, 10 years of continuously monitoring after the land acquisition on the jobs or certain other things. So I think, as our finance minister has rightly put it, by including the housing and the industrial corridors, that let it be having a balance, let it have a balance between the industry and the farmers, and the act definitely promises to achieve that target. Coming back to the real estate industry, as well as to companies like Sobha Developers, we all know that the government wants to have smart cities, government wants to have affordable housing to all. This could not have been possible without including these kind of clauses in the Land Acquisition Act. Though currently the operational environment remains challenging, but in times to come, as our economy picks up, we believe this will help us to identify large land parcels, take the support of the farmers, take the support of the government, go for acquisition, treat farmers fairly, and at the same time provide affordable homes to the Indian people correctly.
Right. Mr. Sharma, let's talk about today, tomorrow, this quarter, and what do you expect in coming quarters. My understanding is that the Indian real estate market currently is going through a period of painful adjustment. At Sobha Developers, what is your take?
See, I will be giving our operational data maybe in the beginning of the next week, and we will have one more round of discussions on this issue. But I 100% agree with your views. Currently, the Indian real estate market is going through a transition, and which we believe is a good thing to do, because this industry needed consolidation. Repeatedly, we have been emphasizing that because you have a land or you know how to get the projects approved, you cannot become a developer. So in order to ensure that only the credible developers remain, sometimes this kind of a painful process was required. And we believe that this is going to help, again, the stronger companies having presence in multiple cities and doing projects successfully to consolidate their position. We believe that our volumes in 2015 should be significantly higher. We are getting into aspirational homes from this quarter onwards, where the volume should pick up. And we also are agreeing that the last 3 quarters have not been to our expectations due to this painful transition.
Right. Mr. Sharma, in lieu of this ordinance being placed, how are you working it in with your plans? Have you identified, because I heard you talk about land parcels and, drawing up plans now that things are in place. Could you perhaps give us more color on the kind of land you have identified or are negotiating to buy for development?
It's a bit premature right now, but in some of the cities we have relatively larger parcels, and we should be able to look at those larger parcels where if some small land parcels here and there we need to consolidate. This kind of an acquisition should help us going forward.
Mr. Sharma, I have a very basic question, which is that if I look at the kind of data we are getting from housing finance companies, they are reporting robust sales. Housing finance companies only grow when there is demand for real estate. Builders are saying there is no demand for real estate, but housing finance data or data coming from housing finance companies is giving us a different picture.
You have a point. The housing finance companies normally do sales where they have two sets of customers. One set of customers where they buy from developers like us new homes. Another set of customers, which is larger than this now, is the second sales market, where they are funding the house buyers who need a completed home. And most of the time those completed homes, since you can occupy it, transactions levels have increased in the recent past, and especially in the markets like NCR or Mumbai, where the developer's reputation to deliver the products timely has been lacking, and where the new jobs are being created, they need ready-made homes. So they go to the finance companies and they are showing a good robust growth. But if you ask the data how many sales of that is happening vis-a-vis the new developer sales, those numbers are declining.
Okay, and do you see that changing? I mean, how starting off either in the last quarter of this financial year or in the first quarter of the next financial year, how different do you think things would look on the sales side?
I think post-budget, post some reductions in the interest rates, and the way the economy has been behaving in last couple of months' time, from July quarter onwards, in my opinion, things will start significantly improving, macro level.
All right, Mr. Sharma, thanks very much for joining us and putting things in perspective. So maybe the second quarter of FY16, a turnaround is expected in the real estate business, with sales picking up and some boost coming in for the entire sector in the upcoming budget. That's Mr.